Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Harvey Weinstein confronted at a New York City event.
I didn't know that we have to bring our own maze and rape whistles to Actors Hour.
What the crowd did after will shock you. Plus, thousands of people in California are literally running from their homes to get away from dozens of fast-moving flames. Then, a mom says her 7-year-old son wants to transition to a girl, but his dad says differently. We'll tell you what a judge ruled. And you do not want to miss our new interview with comedian Ken Jeong.
No, I've gotten dumber.
Okay,
and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think I'm like the Homer Simpson of the show.
Real, honest, entertaining, live.
Daily Blast Live starts right now.
3, 2.
Yes, welcome to DBL. Erica Kopp, what day is it?
It's Friday.
Woo! I feel it. October 25th. I'm here with Erica, Jeff, Al. I am Sam. Let's get right to it. All right, we begin with breaking news. Felicity Huffman, are we ready for this? Was released from federal prison this morning after, that's right, Erica, already after serving just 11 days of her 14-day sentence. Felicity began her time at Club Fed on October 15th, but apparently it is normal policy for inmates who are set to be released over the weekend to get out before the weekend so you can enjoy your weekend, Erica, because it's Friday. Can you believe
Well, I guess
that?
it's no greater Friday than Felicity Huffman.
I know. But are we shocked, really?
I'm not shocked that she got out early. I mean, we were kind of, I'm shocked that she was even in there for that long, to be honest. But you know what? She owned up to it, something different than a lot of other people did, and here she is.
Do you think Lori Loughlin's like, I wish I could?
You think? Well, she still can. If I were Felicity, I'd be like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here 3 more days. For real. It looks ridiculous that she served 14 days, then got 1 day cut off for just going there.
Right.
Now she's getting another 3 days knocked off. I'd be like, I'm just staying here. So you can leave the door open, but I'm staying here.
It's such.
That's smart. For court of public opinion.
Right.
That's smart.
I mean, I guess.
Would you follow Jeff's suit?
I mean, we can't sit here and act like we're surprised. Jeff, you say it all the time. If you have the money, the system is different.
Yeah.
And so we sit here and
And
we're
the
like.
color of your skin.
Yeah,
that
of
has
course,
a lot to do with it too.
Obviously, that helps too. I mean, you know, so she had both things working for her, and she, I guess everybody keeps saying she owned up to it. I'm not giving in. She got caught. Everyone.
There's a difference.
She got caught.
No. Of course
she didn't email dear judge.
Of course she got caught, but there's a difference between how she's handling it and how Lori Loughlin's handling it.
Lori Loughlin is getting horrendous legal advice. That's what I think it is.
Well, we'll see.
How many people you think are going to be Felicity Huffman for Halloween?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's going to be a big
I think
one.
a lot.
Ooh, I
Or
didn't
Lori
think
Loughlin.
about that.
Well, I mean, now it's
you mean
iconic
with the
with the white
baseball hat
the
and
Under
the
Armour shoes, the
tortoiseshell
green
glasses,
jumpy.
Yeah.
Jumpy?
Jumpy.
Yeah, that was a little
You've
jumpy.
been around kids
jumpy.
Go put your jumpy on. I don't want you.
All right. This story is creating a ton of buzz. You'll never guess who turned up to an open mic in New York. That's Harvey Weinstein, you guys. Yep, at a bar in Manhattan. Well, one of the female comedians confronted him during her set. Take a look at what happened.
I'm feeling a little tense. Anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm a comic. And it's our job to name the elephant in the room. Do we know what that is? Yeah, it's a Freddy Krueger in the room, if you will. I didn't know that we have to bring our own maze and rape whistles to Actors Hour, y'all. No?
But that's not all. Harvey got totally called out by another woman who went off on him. She was later removed from the comedy club. Now, a warning, this may be a little uncomfortable to watch for some people, might be triggering. Take a look.
No, nobody's gonna say anything. Nobody's really gonna say anything. I'll get out of here. That's fine. I am happy to leave, but nobody's gonna say anything. I'm gonna stand 4 feet from a. Nobody's gonna say anything. I'll go.
Wow, a spokesperson for Weinstein released a statement saying, quote, "This scene was uncalled for, downright rude, an example of how due process today is being squashed by the public, trying to take it away in the courtroom too." I got emotional listening to that girl. I'm not saying it was appropriate, but knowing that that girl has had a history of sexual abuse, Erica, and trauma and rape, I saw someone trying to get her own justice. And I'm not saying that you should be a vigilante and get your own justice out on the street, but I felt for her. And maybe that's the wrong reaction, but I did.
Your reaction is your reaction.
Yeah, here's the truth. You get what you give. I don't know why people expect more of other people than they're expecting of themselves. I understand there's a criminal justice system, but he opted to go out to a comedy club in the middle of Manhattan and enjoy his life the way that he was used to enjoying it before. But he gave something, and now he gets it.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good point.
You know, in this show,
as a comic, what would you do? Let's put the girl who had her outburst aside. The comedian, would you have addressed it if Harvey Weinstein was in the room, or somebody, in your opinion, super offensive?
Yeah, we have a lot to get to, so I'll explain this as quickly as I can. And that's a great question, Sam, because that's what I thought about. I looked at this as a comic. There's a reason that I don't look at the showroom before I'm going to go on. The other two acts, even though I want to see my friends do stand-up, the reason I don't look is because if there's a couple talking or people talking, I'm going to go out on that stage and I'll be like, table 14, I hope terrible things happen to them. And then they'll clink their glass and I'll lose my mind on that table and everybody will be like, what's his problem? If I feel like I'm not in a place to be professional, I will not put myself in that position. Not only is it not fair to the other comics on the show, but it's not fair to the audience, because I think about Jeff and I think about Sam. You have not seen a movie since your daughter was born. When you come out to see me, I'm thinking that's probably going to be the one time in 6 months you enjoying, put your nice stuff on, pay for parking, pay for dinner, 2-drink minimum, get home, do all that stuff, pay a sitter. You're going to see my show. And if I feel like I can't do that, I'm going to remove myself. I would have told the owner, there's whatever the equivalent of Harvey Weinstein in that audience, and I don't feel like I can be professional. But the way she reacted is how she reacted, and you can't fold an entertainer for
That's
that.
honorable, Al. That really is. Okay, so we've got some breaking news coming into the studio. Kelly, what is going on?
Sam, there are more than a dozen wildfires burning in California right now, destroying homes across the state. Take a look at this incredible video showing people running from their home as they try to get away from the flames burning on the hill behind them. We know dozens of homes have already been destroyed, and Sam, the winds are not expected to die down anytime soon. Now, if there's any good news here, there are no reports of any injuries. We'll keep you updated.
Wow, thank you, Kelly. Kelly will definitely keep us updated. Two parents are battling it out in court right now all over their 7-year-old's gender. These two parents don't agree on what name to call their child, James or Luna. The mom says their child is transgender, as diagnosed by a handful of doctors, and should be called Luna. But the father argues that the mom manipulated the child into a false gender identity. Now, originally a jury sided with the mom, but now a judge ruled yesterday that the father will still get a say in decisions about medical care and haircuts for the child. What do you guys make of this case? It's starting to gain, I've been following it for months, but it's now starting to gain traction everywhere. Right. And it's creating quite the polarizing reaction. What would you say, Jeff?
You know, I don't know. And I don't know if I have enough to comment on this. I know you've been following it. For me, I don't know. I would like to talk to a transgender person. I'd like to talk to a medical expert. 7 years old seems a little young to me personally to know what even gender is, to know what sexuality is. So that's just my opinion. But I don't know the answer.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just so impressed by you as a parent, because that's the difference, Jeff, is you are immediately thinking of, oh, I don't know the details about trans issues. Either do I as a parent. So who would I go to? I would go to trans people. I would go to doctors who have specialized in this for decades and have research to back them up. And in fact, there's so many studies, but the most recent study that really looked at thousands of trans kids that have transitioned, according to this new study in the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, states that if you allow your child to transition socially, so that's what this is, cutting your hair, calling the daughter Luna, or the son, if identifies as a girl, Luna, that's socially transitioning. That almost virtually, based on this study, eliminates threats of suicide later, depression, anxiety. That's what I would care about as a parent, right? How do I make sure that my child doesn't want to attempt suicide 9 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 2 years from now? And so the way to eliminate that, according to science, is to allow them to socially transition, not medically, socially.
And I think what parents really need to ask themselves, because I've known so many parents who have felt one way about LGBTQ, and then they find out that their child is in the community and then they feel something different. You have to ask yourself, do you want a relationship with your child or do you not? Because you're never going to force any human being into being something that they don't want to be. So the fact that it's so divisive between the mother and the father, then what they're really saying is, this is how I'll accept you and the only way that I'll accept you, or I'm going to accept you fully as you are. And that's the difference between people who have relationships with their children and people who don't.
Yeah. Wow. Well said. Well, please chime in, DBL Nation. We would love to hear from you. DBL is live coming up. The Markle sisters just can't seem to get along. Wait till you hear what Meghan's sister said this time around. Plus, co-host Tori Shulman goes one-on-one with buddy man Kim Jong. He pulls back the curtain on The Masked Singer, one of the strangest shows around. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. A new survey says a majority of Americans fear we're on the brink of a civil war. Your comments on the shaky state of the union next. Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, when we talk about what you're talking about. Well, according to a new bipartisan survey, Americans agree that the current political climate is getting worse. An overwhelming 88% of you surveyed say they are tired of how politicians are behaving. And get this, 67% fear that the U.S. could be headed towards another civil war. So DBL Nation, we are all involved in this one. Do you think America is approaching another civil war? Take it away, Erica.
Paul John from Facebook says, if our country's division in the 60s didn't cause one, it's not going to happen now. Civil unrest, certainly, but an all-out war, no. Paul John, I certainly hope that you're right. I'm really not sure. I might be a part of the 67%. The interesting part is there was actual aesthetic divisive lines. How would we determine who's on what side? It's just, I'm very fearful, and that's the reason why I say if people aren't safe, if one person isn't safe, no one's safe, because it comes down to, we are a country and we have to be united.
Nancy from Facebook says, this is what Trump has been trying to accomplish from the very beginning. He is still trying to divide this country. Anyone who doesn't follow him is his enemy. He is envious of countries led by a dictatorship and wants that for this country. Nancy, thanks for writing in, but that's ridiculous. He does not want a civil war. Nobody wants a civil war. And I think people are going to this fact that we're going to be in a civil war is because of ridiculous comments like that on social media. Most of the country is just like, I'm tired of this politics. Nobody's going to start pulling out their muskets and shooting each other.
I hope. Speak for yourself, Jeff. Yeah. I dusted mine off. I didn't
you ready? You got some gunpowder?
I didn't even know I had one. I looked in the closet. It was theirs. I mean, we can't get Americans to get their 10,000 steps in, much less have a civil war. Come on, it's not happening. JT from Facebook says, the media loves stories that create divisiveness. You can blame it on Trump or Obama if you want, but the divide is down political lines, and the media has taken a side that should not be. JT, civil war is just not going to happen. I think what we're talking about is just the country being divided as a whole in terms of the direction it's going. Some people kind of want to go backwards. Some people want to go forward. Some people want to stay in the middle. And the thing is, we have a big country full of a bunch of people that look different and think different. And so this is constantly going to be coming up. But when we get it right, we've seen that this country can do great things. Right now, we're seeing the other side of that, which is no bueno.
True. Ken from Facebook says, yes, we are in the middle of a cold civil war. The country is completely divided and it will not recover. The Russians have won and there will be a global power vacuum. Nothing will happen overnight.
Didn't Rocky deliver the speech at the end of Rocky IV?
But the world will be a very different place in 20 years. Listen, I have to come from a place of hope. I really do. That's the only way that I can thrive and wake up in the morning and feel good. So I hope that we can all come together and that the divisiveness soon will be a thing of the past.
How could you send a bummer tweet like that on a Friday? Man, that's a Monday morning tweet.
Did you see my shoulders went from here to here?
It's crazy that people think like this is where it's going.
Guys,
they're not alone. They're not alone.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay, all right. Let's keep that Friday energy going, shall we? Coming up on DBL.
Like killed our Friday.
Only if you let it. Only if you let it. Kanye West is pumped up for his new Christian album, and you'll never guess what he's prohibiting his staff from doing in keeping with the Bible. But first, DBL welcomes Masked Singer Judge Ken Jong. Find out what really goes down behind the scenes of the weirdest show on TV next in Chatting with the Stars.
Welcome back to DBL. Tori Shulman talked to actor and comedian Ken Jeong and got the inside scoop on the weirdest show on TV, The Masked Singer, on today's Chatting with the Stars.
Ken, welcome to DBL. We are all huge fans of you and your comedy. I know you're here to talk about First Responders Day, and as a former doctor, you are all too familiar with first responders. So how can we support these everyday heroes who at DBL we love?
You know, they're the most important, frontline element of healthcare. And so to me, having worked with first responders and all throughout my medical career, I can't think of a better way to celebrate First Responders Day by, giving them a toast with Heineken 0.0, alcohol-free, and it's the right call to be on call.
Oh, that's good.
And
that's good.
Yeah.
Slogan.
Yep. I came up with that myself.
Did you really?
Improvised line.
Improvised line. That's so good. I want to ask, you're a judge on Masked Singer. What is it about this epically weird show? We talk about it every week that connects with audiences so much.
It's the #1 show in Korea, and I'm of Korean descent. And my mom sent me video links of the show, and she said, and I quote, the show will be a hit and this will be good for your career.
Whoa.
And she actually said that. I'm not even kidding. So basically, I did the show, to please my mom. And so it really did. I was like, all right, just get off my back. I'll do the show,
You were a terrible, notoriously terrible guesser. You once mistook your own former co-star Margaret Cho for Melissa Rivers.
I think maybe like Melissa Rivers, maybe.
Has it gotten any easier for you?
No, I've gotten dumber.
Okay,
and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think I'm like the Homer Simpson of the show in terms of guesses.
Now, in honor of
yeah,
First
I mean, when you think the poodle is Dog the Bounty Hunter, that pretty much, which was a real guess of mine last year.
Yeah, that was a hard no on that one. Yeah. So in honor of First Responders Day, and all that they do in Florida especially, we want to have you guess which of these Florida man headlines is real or fake, okay? So I'm going to give you a Florida headline, and you just say real or fake. Okay, number 1.
Yep.
Florida man accused of robbing Chinese restaurant at Finger Point. Is this real or fake?
That's fake.
Okay, that was real. Florida man with no arms charged with stabbing Chicago tourist. Is that real or fake?
Fake.
Real. It actually happened on your birthday, July 13th. And finally, Florida man learns the hard way he stole laxatives, not opioids. Is this real or fake?
That sounds real.
Oh, that's so real. They're all real. That was excellent job. You got the last one right. I'm amazed. That's a hard day for that guy.
Wow, I'm actually smarter at Florida man guessing than I am on The Masked Singer.
We should start a new show. It'd be very niche audience. I think that's really great.
The mask. Hey, the Florida mask.
Florida mask.
We just do that.
It's totally true.
Yeah.
Ken, it's been such an honor. I love talking to you. I hope to someday work with you in an improv situation. Good luck on Masked Singer.
That'd be amazing.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I love that guy. He's hilarious. Tori, not so much. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to DBL. Today we are remembering and honoring Representative Elijah Cummings. He's getting a final farewell today in eulogies by former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. But in this divisive time, we here at DBL think it's important to show you what happened yesterday when Republican Mark Meadows gave a very emotional and touching eulogy. Let's watch.
So Elijah has left his tent to go to a mansion, a better place. Perhaps this place in this country would be better served with a few more unexpected friendships. I know I've been blessed by one.
Wow. Yeah, and he went on to talk about how much his friendship with Elijah transformed him as an individual. So I would love to see more of that in this country.
Yeah, not wait till they're passed away. How about a little respect when people are still living and what the man did?
I love it. I love it.
And stripping away political party.
Absolutely.
Strip it away. Here's what's coming up next on DBL.
Kanye West is taking us to church with his new album, but you'll never guess what he forbids his crew from doing.
There's times where I was asking people to not have premarital sex while they were working on the album.
Then she's back. Meghan Markle's sister trashes her again on TV. Will they ever be able to heal these family wounds? And it's the stuff of science fiction. An invisibility cloak is in the works. But what if it gets into the wrong hands? More DBL when we come back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. We are live. Let's get started, shall we? Kanye West fans are celebrating because he just dropped his new album a month after it was supposed to be released. Let's hear some.
Only when they need me, like if Tyler Perry made a movie for searching for a deity. Now you wanna see it free. Now you wanna see it free. Let you see it 3 apiece. Tell me what your life like. Turn it down a bright light. Driving with my dad and he told me it ain't Christ-like.
He's been all over promoting it, talking to Apple Music about his faith and how his psychiatric emergency in 2016 changed him. Watch.
And a person came to my house that wasn't a Christian and told me come over. And then 30 minutes later, I was in handcuffs headed to the hospital. One of the things that people do now is they try to discriminate against my mind and my thoughts because of that moment.
First of all, I'm going to be making a new CD for my car pretty soon.
I like that song.
Yeah.
But Kanye is really, really an intriguing person to me. Just the way he talks, the way he looks at the world, he's very intriguing to me.
I like that. For somebody to have all these hits, to be this creative, you're going to be a unique person with that. And I don't pick him apart and I don't want him to be like, good to meet you. I want my entertainers and artists a little different, making me think of things a little different. If I don't agree with it, I'm fine with that.
I have been a Kanye fan forever. I have Jesus Walks With Me tattooed across my foot.
Which is one of his songs for people to
Right. I got to see him on Oprah. I got to sit in between his parents.
Wow.
And he's been a complete gentleman. I've interviewed him. He's a gentleman, he's a scholar, and he's a visionary. But I assure you that whatever he said to the people working on the album with him.
With the premarital.
Right.
So let's just disclose that. So really quickly, not only did he speak about his 5150, and I applaud him for really talking about the transparency of his mental health issues, but he also did say he does plan on running for president in 2024. That's going to happen, according to him. He also said that he told the album collaborators, you cannot have premarital sex. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's likely not the most unconventional thing that he had said that day.
Yeah.
He also said he's been addicted to porn since he was 5.
I think that's a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah, again, I like how open he is. And Kanye said some things he said some things that I didn't care for, but that doesn't matter. I think it's okay for people to say things that you don't care for. I think it's I feel like if you made a scale and made a balance of the good he's contributed to the world, all the joy that his songs have brought people versus the kind of weird stuff, I think it comes more down on everybody's had a good time when some Kanye West was playing. So it show me one person that hasn't and you're lying.
Listen, I love Kanye. I really do think that he is a genius. I just struggle with people that say it so obtusely all the time. So he also said, I am undoubtedly the greatest human artist of all time. It's not even a question at this point. It's fact.
I think he might have an argument.
I don't then keep that with listen, I'm just going to tell you as a person, if Kanye West put the name aside and I met someone in a room and said, I am the greatest comedian of all time or I'm the greatest television host of all time, I don't like people that show up.
What did you think about Muhammad Ali?
Gosh darn it, Jeff. I've been waiting.
You were going to get to
Did a black woman from Chicago just say, gosh darn it?
I would apply that to Muhammad Ali too. And listen, I was raised on Muhammad Ali. My dad used to show me videos of Muhammad Ali. My dad had a signed picture of Muhammad Ali in his office. I don't like showboatiness. I don't. That's just my opinion.
But here's the thing. Knowing the plight of Muhammad Ali, so you have someone who knows their greatness. They're exercising their greatness. And all the world is saying, you ain't bleep, you would never bleep, you never gonna be bleep. So all you have is what you know you have inside. So you're constantly just fighting against every single person trying to stop you every day.
But Muhammad
I feel like
Ali
that's
is a
very
little bit
similar.
Not with Kanye, in my opinion. Muhammad Ali also came from an era where, and of course, discrimination still exists in 2019. Of course it does. But Muhammad Ali, I think, was discriminated against much more than Kanye was. I personally can separate the two and say this is a good artist. I don't like when people so egregiously showboat and narcissistically say I'm the best in the world. That's my opinion.
And I'm just going to jump in. I'll just say that people, Sam, I think almost against your point, I think people do like when people say that. Look at Conor McGregor. I'm the best fighter of all time.
And I don't like that with Conor either.
Donald Trump.
I don't like that with the president either.
People, I mean,
don't like it.
people do like showmen. That's why they're called carnival barkers.
Some people.
They get people's attention.
Some people. I find that very distasteful.
But I find like Taylor Swift's oh gee shucks routine when she wins her 19th award. Also, I find that off-putting. I want Taylor Swift to be like, I'm killing it.
Use Taylor Swift to compare with all those other people. There's a lot of great.
She's got great numbers.
I know, but there's a lot of great athletes and artists and world leaders out there that lead by example and don't have to tell the whole world why they're so wonderful. I tend to gravitate more towards those people. That's just my opinion. All right, let's move on.
Let's do it.
The Duchess of Sussex revealed it all in a recent documentary, but she's still facing the backlash. Stephanie Jones, who's bashing her this time?
You're not going to believe this, but Meghan's estranged sister, Samantha Markle, she's at it again. She tells Inside Edition that she's got no sympathy for the newest royal, and this is even after watching the documentary where Meghan says that she's not doing okay. Watch this.
I think it's really ludicrous that someone who is escorted around the world by millions of dollars worth of security on private jets as a millionaire could ever complain about anything. To have the audacity to say something like, you know, it's nice to know that somebody wants to know if I'm okay. I thought, well, wow, did you ever ask Dad if he was okay during 2 heart attacks?
I mean, I think she said that she thinks Meghan had this audacity. I think that's exactly what I think of her right now. That's crazy.
Jeff just asked me a question. Jeff, please ask Steph the question you just asked me.
I was just like, why is this woman on TV? Why is someone giving her an interview?
Because at the end of the day, she's going to bring in ratings, isn't she? Everyone wants that little bit of inside knowledge, you know, that behind the scenes. Like, we live and breathe for that, let's be honest. That's what this kind of TV, like, thrives from. Everyone wants to know, you know, what's Meghan's sister going to say? What dirt is she going to dish? But you know what? I would just be ashamed. And there's a reason, darling, you was not invited to the wedding, and there it is.
Well,
I agree.
I think it's even deeper than that, because if you watch the documentary, first of all, this is an extension of a documentary that Harry did 15 years ago. And it's really, the whole thing is about how they're changing the world. And they're making that decision to do that for themselves with all this ridicule. So it's very telling that she would talk about the money first, because that's all that matters to her.
Yeah.
Very, very off-putting. I know. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks, guys.
The fantastical world of Harry Potter is coming to real life with an invisibility cloak. Can you imagine? A Canadian company, look at that, you guys, is out with a paper-thin material that disguises anything behind it. So what it does is it bends light around an object to make it appear invisible. The technology is so promising that it can even camouflage military tanks. This is almost terrifying that anybody, I mean, you could do whatever you wanted if you were invisible.
That's kind of cool.
It's very cool, but it's also quite terrifying that this technology exists. Think about what you could do with an invisibility cloak.
Yeah. First of all, I think this is the first time this conversation's ever been had sober. What would you do? Would you rather be invisible, or do you want to fly? You go first. Or see through things. How are we not around a campfire right now? I mean, it's cool. I think so. I don't know.
Oh, if it gets into the hands of the wrong person, it ain't cool.
It's a sheet. It's not a cloak.
What do you mean?
You don't like put it on and go rob a bank. Well, it's a giant sheet. If you see someone walking down the street with a giant sheet, punch him in the face.
Yeah, but if it could work for, listen, a tank, if it could potentially eventually work for a tank that is moving, just like a human being would be moving, that would mean that a human being could have something that also would protect them while they're moving.
You don't think you're going to see that person coming?
No.
What are you talking about? It's a giant piece of plywood.
But they might make it smaller.
No, they
and
might.
then it could fit on your clothes.
This is the beginning of the technology. You don't think it's going to improve and evolve?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna be like an Ocean's whatever number, I guess it would help with like video surveillance.
I think it could be used for greatness and shadiness. Just saying.
I think I'm glad we cut the Kanye segment off so we could discuss if we could be invisible or not. Like, my son is having this conversation on the playground right now.
It's real technology, Al.
It's really cool, though.
It's very
good for military stuff,
yes.
I guess. Yeah.
This is the ultimate family showdown. A mother is suing her daughter for breaking her bed. You'll never guess how the daughter.
I think I have a guess.
Watch, yeah.
There was some intense passion. Let's go with passion.
So no one's jumping on that, though, or what's going on? Did you know this bloke, or is he like a hooker?
I know him well.
But in your mum's bed. Weird.
I can't.
Why?
You would have sex in your mom's
No,
bed?
absolutely not. But you can't believe somebody would. She seems like a selfish person.
Did that guy call the man a hooker?
Yeah.
I thought he said a hookup.
I think he said hook up.
I thought he said hooker too.
I'm like,
No,
could a
he said
man be a
hook up.
hooker, or is that a gigolo?
Yeah, a man can be a hooker.
I mean, is that a gigolo?
No, it's
yes,
a
a male prostitute is a
hooker
gigolo.
He said hook up.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, now I'm thinking about something else.
Anybody could be a hooker, Jeff.
But I thought a male one was a gigolo. I wish I had that invisibility cloak.
I'll just say this, and it's an unsaid thing, and I'm going to walk around this, but I think having any kind of intimate relationships in somebody else's bed is a huge, unforgivable slap in the face.
Yes.
It is a thing. I think even couples that get
How about
when you get
Airbnb?
that's fine.
I think it's different.
Yes.
You know what you're getting into.
Yes.
You know if you're letting your house be open to people's
Not your house.
vacane.
You know.
What?
When you do Airbnb, you know that's no longer your bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Yeah, that's a
all over
holiday
the house.
embedded.
All over the
Yeah,
house.
and you know everything in front. Okay.
But I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys have that same standard?
Is that like an unforgivable thing?
Yeah, I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
No, I want my bed to be my bed.
It seems personal.
How about a guest room?
I think that's
fine.
okay.
That's what the guest
I think a
room's
guest room's
for.
fine.
The guest
You
room's-
have friends coming into town. You hope that they have a good time.
Yeah, you just walk in. Why aren't there any sheets on this bed? You know.
Oh my gosh, that poor mom.
That's what the guest room's for, right?
That's
No, I'm
not
just
what the
asking.
guest room's
I had a lot of
for.
questions.
Erica, what's it for? Erica.
Sam, thank you. Coming up on DBL, the telltale signs your boss is terrible at their job. We'll share some of the red flags next. Welcome back to DBL. There's an online poll making headlines that we have to talk about. The job finding website Monster.com says 76% of people say they have a toxic boss, and only 19% call their boss a mentor. So let's take a look at some signs you have a terrible boss. So first up, they tease or flirt. Ugh. As a former waitress, let me tell you, I had plenty of bosses that teased or flirted, and it is cringeworthy, inappropriate, and probably illegal.
Yeah. Because how old were you? As a
20
waitress,
all the way till
how
28.
old were they?
And
40 to 60.
Yeah.
But I mean, doesn't it kind of make sense that with the whole Me Too thing that we're talking about, whether it was you working at Hooters or you working at a restaurant or me being a it's always powerful older men and younger women that would never talk to them unless obligated at work and they had some kind of power over, oh, you want the Friday shift?
Yeah.
Well, you better tell me I'm looking like I'm working out. And everybody in the office knows how you compliment the boss if you need time off. And I think those days are changing, but we grew up with that. Sophie won't.
Yeah, I love that. So how about this one? They have favorites clouding their ability to recognize job performance and workload. Also a big no-no.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. We'll talk about that later. Not now.
Yeah, here's the problem with this, because people always think it's like a jealousy thing. It discredits the person's ability as an employee to go up, like to move up without speculation about their job performance. And then it discredits the boss because you feel like you can pay for anything, really.
Right. Yeah, well said. This next sign
like,
you have
was it?
You have a terrible boss is they don't give you a chance to grow. I mean, that's the whole point, right? You want to foster your employees to be able to reach their full potential.
But this is something that employees need to look out for, because if you're not offered a path to grow within the company, then that's their polite way of saying you need to look for another job. And people don't recognize those signs, and that's the reason why they're blindsided a lot of times by getting let go, because they're not needed in that role.
It's like that book, Who Moved the Cheese, right? You got to get ahead of it.
The cheese, or the cheese, oh crap.
Follow the cheese?
No, the cheese. Somebody move my cheese. I don't know. The cheese has been moved.
Too. The cheese has been moved. Something like that.
No, we need the booth to tell us the name of this book, because we cannot let our audience.
That book works.
Which book, Sam? Who moved the cheese?
We both read it. It's a very popular #1 New York Times seller book about how to be ahead of those things.
Who moved my cheese?
Who moved my cheese?
Steve Gallagher.
Who moved my cheese? See, you probably had a boss with this trait. They don't value your opinion. If you feel this way, be careful, because there's a fine line between appearing to be insubordinate and standing up for yourself.
No. I mean, first of all, can it be said that we're doing the segment with our bosses right there? But no, I mean, that's what we've always talked about. Like, Erica, we've talked briefly when you were going to do your hair reveal. I thought it was so cool that they were just like, let's do it, not like, well, this is going to be. And I feel like there was a culture that was in place that you felt comfortable enough to go to even approach your boss with that. And I think that's on them for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool that our boss of the whole company came and took time to just talk to us for 15 minutes.
And make sure we're
How many companies have that?
I know.
What I mean? This is the head honcho.
Right.
I
Pretty
agree.
cool.
It motivates you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does. It's an investment.
To know that they care, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. We will be right back. Welcome back to DBL. It's time for a health alert sponsored by eHealth. It's officially flu season, which means it's time to get that pesky flu shot. Most of us are on autopilot. We get the flu shot every year, or we avoid it at all costs. We're taking a look at the top flu shot myths so you can decide what is right for you. So first, if you never get the flu, you don't need the vaccine. That's actually not true. Even if you don't show symptoms, you can still be infected and spread the virus to other people for up to a week. Okay, another myth out there, the flu shot always has side effects. Well, that's not true either. The biggest side effects are swelling and soreness at the injection site, but this only occurs in 15% of people. And since the vaccine is an inactivated virus, side effects do not include getting the flu.
That's a big one, because a lot of people think that if they get the flu shot, they're going to get a little form of the flu.
I thought that as well.
Yeah.
All right. And lastly, you don't need a flu shot if you had one last year. That's not true, because flu viruses are constantly changing, and so are the vaccines. Last season's vaccine probably won't be effective for this season because the strain changes. You being a pre-med major know all about this.
Yeah, well, the last one I did know. I thought you did get some kind of flu-like symptoms, and I kind of learned, but you can always learn. I had no idea, but you do realize that, like, once you get them every year, the strain changes every year, because the disease is going to evolve and figure out how to keep itself from being killed, so you have to constantly do the same, stay one step ahead of it.
Also, make sure that you're going to an accredited, reputable place to get a flu shot, because it is very common for there to be black market versions, and that's why people experience different side effects that are now known as myths.
That is very scary.
And they're free in most places.
Yeah, if you go to a
CVS, right.
Target pays you, apparently, according to Kelly Schuberth here. They pay you like $10.
They pay you?
Yeah, to get a flu shot.
Maybe get a credit or something? I don't know.
I don't know. Kelly's shaking her head over there.
As if I couldn't love Target anymore.
I know.
$5 credit you get. Steve Gallagher's on top of it today.
Steve just knows it all. That's our engineer, our sound engineer, but he knows
Put that $5 towards ordering your book, Who Moved My Cheese?
We'll be right back.
And for affordable, quality health insurance, call eHealth at 1-800-850-0679.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for our DBL Superstar of the Week. Sanitation worker Billy Shelby knows all about kindness. Back in January, he witnessed an elderly woman on his route fall as she was trying to bring her trash can up the driveway. So he picked her up and even waited with her until the ambulance arrived. But now the two have formed quite the friendship. Every week they take a stroll as he brings the trash can up her driveway. He even leaves her with a "see you later, darling." Aww.
And let me ask you, what side is the Civil War is he fighting on?
Yeah.
Or she fighting on?
Yeah, they
The world
probably
is
don't
full of
even
good
know their
people.
political
yes,
affiliation.
That's what the most of the world is. don't let these clowns confuse you.
Yeah, human interaction, human connection. If we can focus more on that and what brings us together and not what divides us, I think we'd be a much happier country.
And not knowing the camera's on, just being a good person.
Right.
That looked like a ring camera, captured. Yeah.
It's the best part about it.
Yeah,
I know.
For sure. That's really cool.
Well-deserved superstar of the week. We will see you on Monday, same time, same place. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Bye, guys.